Hi, my name's Andrew. Thank you for joining me to watch this tutorial on goal getting. This tutorial follows an earlier video I made on goal setting. As with my last tutorial, I've drawn heavily on some key references, and I recommend these as a starting point if you want to do more of your own research. Some of the books that I cover include Napoleon Hill, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, Jack Collis, Work Smarter Not Harder, and Charles Mann's The Power of Failure. There is also a lot of great online content that touch on how to achieve goals, including work by Brian Tracy, Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, and the prolific Brendon Burchard. I've found all of these references are really valuable in exploring what you need to do to achieve your goal. But each had a slightly different perspective on what was important, and therefore offered a slightly different approach. What I wanted to achieve through this video was synthesize all of the content that made the most sense to me in a single tutorial that was useful. Useful to me and hopefully to you too. So we've addressed goal setting in a previous tutorial. Why have a separate tutorial on goal getting? Because the getting of the goal is usually the hardest part. As Collis points out, the how of goal setting is where 90% of all good intentions come unstuck. In our previous tutorial, we defined a goal as being an intellectual bridge between our present and future state, driven by inspirational dissatisfaction and achieved over time. So the goal setting process is a creative and intellectual activity that focuses on defining that inspirational dissatisfaction. The goal getting process is a practical activity that focuses on doing the work to achieve that future state. Because as Napoleon Hill says, anything in life worth having is worth working for. To do this work, we need to do three things. We need to master the psychology of goal getting, use some tools to move us from thinking into action, and have a plan that sees us productively work towards achieving our goals. These three aspects, psychology, tools, and planning, are the basis for this tutorial. We'll look at each of these in turn. Let's start by trying to understand the psychological forces at play when it comes to achieving our goals. We've all set goals and failed to achieve them. We only have to think back to our last New Year's resolution to see how well-intentioned goals can be poorly executed. So why do goals fail? Collis points out that the world is full of people who set goals and have no real commitment to them. So commitment is the key factor that underlies achievement of a goal. With commitment, you become a machine. You don't think about how you feel about doing the work, you just do it every single day, no matter what. Without commitment, nothing happens. To ensure that we maintain commitment to our goals, we must master our own psychology. If we look at some of the psychological forces that act upon us achieving our goals, we can see that there are positive forces that increase our commitment and push us towards achieving our goals. But then there are negative psychological forces that undermine our commitment and hold us back from achieving our goals. So let's look at the positive psychological forces first. Motivation. Motivation is that which induces action or determines choice. It provides that inner urge within an individual that incites action. Motivation is the key positive emotion that we need to build in order to achieve our goals. No one does anything without having been motivated to do it. Burchard rates our ability to generate motivation as the most important thing in life to master. Discipline. Tracy defines self-discipline as the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is important because it is the deliverer of action. It's also a key ingredient in pushing us through setbacks and building your confidence, the skill that moves you from thought to a willingness to try. And finally, focus. Focus is the state of having a clear vision that you can work towards. Focus is central to keeping you on track to achieving your goals. As Burchard would say, we need to always keep your dreams on the dashboard of your mind. We live in a noisy world that is full of distractions, such as TV and our smartphones. Focus is the antidote to distraction. Let's now move to the negative psychological forces. Fear. Fear is an emotion that is caused by the threat of danger, pain, or harm. Fear is probably the most prevalent of the negative psychological factors. Where does it come from? Mel Robbins points out that our minds are hardwired for survival. They are designed to stop us doing anything that might hurt us. Fear results in hesitation. When you hesitate, it sends a stress signal to the brain, and the brain protects you by magnifying the risk, which deters you from taking action. Failure. We often perceive failure as a negative, fatal, and final result. But is it? According to Manns, failure is a natural part of everyday life and provides the opportunity for feedback. As with other fears, the fear of failure deters us from taking action. But we need to realise that failure is rarely permanent, and that avoiding trying is no guarantee that we will be able to avoid failure. As American writer Elbert Hubbard once wrote, "The greatest mistake you can make in life is to be continually fearing that you will make one." And finally, procrastination. Procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing action. The past is history and tomorrow is only a vision, but the procrastinator wastes today. The problem with procrastination is that it's terribly habit-forming, and it's the reason why most people won't be successful. Life is too short to waste on inaction. The habit of procrastination makes us susceptible to distractions such as TV, smartphones, and even sleep. If you want to be successful, you'll have to be willing to give up some sleep. Work hard, sleep less. Now that we understand the tug-of-war that's going on in our goal-getting psychology, what do we need to do to each of these emotions in order to increase our commitment to the goal and turn our thoughts into action to achieve our goals? We need to win the tug-of-war by reinforcing our positive emotions and diminishing our negative emotions. We need to do things like build motivation, develop discipline, create focus, diminish fear, redefine failure, and take immediate action. But how do we do this? We use tools. There are 7 key tools that I'll outline that can help us gain and maintain a positive psychology and keep us acting towards achieving our goals. Tracy observes that we become what we think about most of the time, so we should orient our dominant thinking towards achieving our goals. All of the goal-getting resources stress that you need to keep the goals in the forefront of your mind. Collis observes that we can only move towards that which we want, not away from that which we don't want, and we should structure our goals accordingly. For example, a good goal would be to move towards becoming rich, rather than moving away from being poor. Expressing a goal as something you want to move towards allows you to employ it as your dominant thought. In this example, becoming rich. One of the reasons why we write our goals down is that we can be constantly reminded of them. Becoming rich becomes our dominant thought. Visualization is a key tool to ensure that you don't forget about your goals, keep them on the front burner, and not allow them to be overtaken by more urgent demands on your time. Tony Robbins is a key proponent of visualization, encouraging you to visualize successful achievement of your goal on a daily basis. Burchard goes one step further, suggesting that not only do you visualize achieving your goal, but also visualize striving and struggling towards it. He says don't just visualize successfully completing the marathon, visualize how it feels at the halfway mark, when you feel like quitting. What will you say and do to get yourself through the struggle? Develop the discipline of visualization, at least daily. Having a strong connection with your why plays a key role in sustaining your motivation. We talked about the importance of your why in goal setting. It encapsulates the purpose of your goal, your passion for it, and the opportunity to achieve it. Maintaining connection with your why needs you to be constantly reminded of your ambition, your desire for something more, as well as your expectancy, the belief in your ability to do it. And your why has to be big. You need to find a dream sufficiently compelling that you're willing to sacrifice some of what you are today for what you will become tomorrow. What are you willing to give up in order to achieve your goals? TV? Sleep? Connection with your why is a key influencer of your motivation, discipline, and focus. We can overcome hesitation caused by fear by employing the 5-second rule, explained by Mel Robbins. She explains the science behind hesitation. The hesitation habit is triggered in the basal ganglia, the unconscious part of the brain where emotions lie. By taking notice of when you hesitate and deliberately counting backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you awaken the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that you use to make conscious decisions. By awakening your prefrontal cortex and visualizing a positive outcome, the fear subsides and you can make a deliberate decision to go ahead and take action. Manns argues that we need to more productively redefine our perception of failure and our willingness to fail. We need to change our definition of failure from a negative and fatal and final result to a short-term, unexpected result that reflects a challenge in progress and that provides an opportunity for learning, development, creative change, and innovation on the pathway to success. Failure is a natural part of everyday life. It is a stepping stone to success. If we can find the opportunity in failure, take on board the feedback, and persist with working towards our goal, then we will be more likely to achieve it. Burchard stresses the importance of environment in maintaining motivation. Surround yourself with a supportive team of people, coaches, trainers, family who understand what you are trying to achieve and why you are trying to achieve it. A positive and supportive physical and emotional environment is a key enabler to overcoming fear, as well as increasing resilience. Collis and Burchard agree on the importance of giving yourself a reward after achieving a milestone. Successfully executed actions release the chemical dopamine, which gives you a sense of achievement, which in turn increases your motivation. Set up a social reward for your achievements along the way. Celebrating with other people will keep your commitments intact. And if you never celebrate, you will never develop the discipline to see your goal through to completion. By mastering your psychology, you build commitment that leads to taking action. Actions are the fundamental building blocks of the work that is required to achieve your goal. While most references cite motivation as inspiring action, Mel Robbins believes that this is simply a lie that we have bought into. Her notion is that actions are the initiator. Actions inspire motivation, and this in turn inspires further action, ultimately leading to momentum. Tony Robbins shares a similar perspective, citing that emotion comes from motion. He believes that you are in charge of the emotions that you feel, and that the emotions can be changed by how you move, what you focus on, and what language you use. So after setting a goal, you must take that first action step. Stop waiting to feel like doing the work. Consistently repeated actions also build habits. So build habits that serve you. Mel Robbins defines a habit as a pattern of behaviour or thinking that you repeat without realising it. As William James, the psychologist, noted, sow an action and you reap a habit. Sow a habit and you reap a character. Sow a character and you reap a destiny. The importance of habits cannot be overstated. Aristotle believed that over 95% of everything that you do is the result of habit. Tony Robbins notes that people often have a set of rituals and habits that prevent them from achieving what they want to achieve. What rituals are undermining you in the achievement of your goals? What habits are not working for you? What habits can you develop in order to better support your psychology and the actions that are required to achieve your goal? Supportive actions and habits will create momentum. The hardest part is getting started. As Isaac Newton discovered through his law of inertia, A body at rest tends to remain at rest, and a body in motion tends to remain in motion. So how can we get started and get that ball rolling and gain some momentum? Collis recommends doing a start-up task that gets you ready for a task that you don't want to do. If you don't want to go for a run in the morning, make it easier for yourself by having your running clothes laid out and ready to go when you wake up. If you don't want to clean the shower, just do the start-up task of spraying it with shower cleaner so that you feel obliged to clean it before you next have a shower. The final part of goal getting that we will look at in this tutorial is planning. Planning the work is a key aspect of achieving your goal. Planning takes into account the temporal factor, and time is the most valuable commodity that we have. How much time do we waste every day? Start by breaking down large tasks into small tasks. As the saying goes, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. Henry Ford, who radically changed the manufacturing process through the creation of the production line, is quoted as saying, "Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs." So divide your task into 5 or 10-minute subtasks, bite-sized chunks. This will allow you to complete a bite-sized chunk daily, which adds to momentum and reinforces your motivation. Often, you'll find yourself starting with a small task, and the motivation that it generates will inspire you onwards to complete a larger task. Completing small tasks also exploits Mel Robbins' notion that we only have the organic motivation to undertake small, simple tasks. Planning also requires you to deliberately schedule time to work on your goals. As Burchard notes, a scheduled goal becomes a commitment. Don't wait for discipline to strike. Be deliberate in setting up blocks of time where you can work on your priorities. Try to work on your goals at around the same time every day, preferably in the mornings before you're consumed by the unplanned crisis of the day. Avoid being distracted by randomness. Schedule what you must make happen. The fundamental building block of a plan involves daily action. Commit to small things on a daily basis that move you towards a worthy ideal. But you'll need to attach that daily action to a daily vision that excites you, your why. Tony Robbins makes the point that there is excitement in creation, but not in maintenance. Burchard believes that everyday effort devoted towards your goals will soon become a habit that serves you. He suggests that you set and achieve 3 tasks that contribute to your goals every day. Collis recommends making a to-do list that prioritizes your actions that will lead to your goals. Review your progress towards your goals frequently, at least weekly. Burchard suggests measuring your performance. How well did you go on a scale of 1 to 10? Acknowledge that sometimes life happens and higher priorities come up. Where did you quit? Where did you give up? What's the next step that you need to take to move this goal forward? Your review should inspire and populate your daily task list. One of the drawbacks with the way that Western thinking tends to approach goal setting and goal getting is that we maintain a focus on achieving the outcome or the end state. As Dale Carnegie once noted, one of the most tragic things I know about human nature is that all of us tend to put off living. We're all dreaming of some magical rose garden over the horizon, instead of enjoying the roses that are blooming outside our window today. This is a reminder that success isn't just achieved with the accomplishment of our goal, it's achieved through the successful journey along the way. As Vince Lombardi noted, success is a day-by-day, inch-by-inch struggle towards our goals. We've covered a lot of content in this tutorial, so let's recap some of the key points. Goal getting is hard. It's where 90% of all good intentions come unstuck. Goal getting requires you to maintain commitment to the goal over time. To remain committed to a goal, you must master your own psychology. You must reinforce your positive emotions by building motivation, developing your discipline, and by creating focus and avoiding distraction. You must manage your negative emotions by diminishing your fear, interrupting your habit of hesitation, redefining your perception of failure, and by taking immediate action. Tools can be used to master this psychology. The tools that we've talked about include ensuring that our dominant thinking aligns with our goals, visualizing both the achievement of our goal as well as the struggle to get there, ensuring that we have a compelling connection to the why of our goal, using the 5-second rule to overcome hesitation and fear by awakening the prefrontal cortex to make deliberate decisions, redefining how we think about failure to see it as a stepping stone on the pathway to success, ensuring that we have a supportive environment, and rewarding ourselves for achieving milestones on the path towards our goal. By mastering our psychology, we can take action, which is the initiator for motivation and building momentum. Actions build habits. We need to ensure that our habits serve us well and take us closer to our goals. Actions and habits create momentum. Use startup tasks to get the momentum ball rolling. Planning takes into account the most important factor to our work, time. Break large tasks into bite-sized chunks that we can achieve over time. Deliberately schedule what you must make happen. Don't leave it for discipline and motivation to strike. Commit to 3 small tasks on a daily basis that move you towards your goals. Review your progress towards your goals frequently, at least weekly. And finally, we enjoy the journey. Success isn't just about the achievement of your goal, but also the struggle along the way. Thank you for watching. I hope that you gained something out of this tutorial. My next tutorial will be on planning, where we get into more detail about how to break goals down, map them over time, and track our progress. Please hit the subscribe button if you're interested in this and other tutorials that I'm creating.